Chapter 16 of The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Dana Meilinger.
Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. This is chapter 16 and 17 of The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. So first is going to be the full audio of both chapters, and at the end of that, please stick around because I'm going to give my analysis and my opinion and a little more information. Okay, thank you. Enjoy.
Chapter 16. Some cautions and concluding observations. Many people will scoff at the idea that there is an exact science of getting rich. Holding the impression that the supply of wealth is limited, they will insist that social and governmental constitutions must be changed before even any considerable number of people can acquire a competence. But this is not true. It is true that existing governments keep the masses in poverty, but this is because the masses do not think and act in a certain way. If the masses begin to move forward as suggested in this book, neither governments nor industrial systems can check them. All systems must be modified to accommodate the forward movement. If the people have the advancing mind, have the faith that they can become rich, and move forward with the fixed purpose to become rich, nothing can possibly keep them in poverty. Individuals may enter upon the certain way at any time, and under any government, and make themselves rich, and when any considerable number of individuals do so under any government, they will cause the system to be so modified as to open the way for others. The more men who get rich on the competitive plane, the worse for others, and more who get rich in the creative plane, the better for others. The economic salvation of the masses can only be accomplished by getting a large number of people to practice the scientific method set down in this book, and become rich. These will show others the way, and inspire them with a desire for real life, with the faith that can be attained, and with the purpose to attain it. For the present, however, it is enough to know that neither the government under which you live, nor the capitalistic or competitive system of industry can keep you from getting rich. When you enter upon the creative plane of thought, you will rise above all these things, and become a citizen of another kingdom. But remember that your thought must be held upon the creative plane. You are never for an instant to be betrayed into regarding the supply as limited, or into acting on the moral level of competition. Whenever you do fall into old ways of thought, correct yourself instantly. For when you are in the competitive mind, you have lost the cooperation of the mind of the whole. Do not spend any time in planning as to how you will meet possible emergencies in the future, except as the necessary policies may affect your actions today. You are concerned with doing today's work in a perfectly successful manner, and not with emergencies which may arise tomorrow. You can attend to them as they come. Do not concern yourself with questions as to how you shall surmount obstacles which may loom upon your business horizon, unless you see plainly that your course must be altered today in order to avoid them. No matter how tremendous an obstruction may appear at the distance, you will find that if you go in the certain way, it will disappear as you approach it, or that a way over, through, or around it will appear. No possible combination of circumstances can defeat a man or woman who is proceeding to get rich along strictly scientific lines. No man or woman who obeys the law can fail to get rich, any more than one can multiply 2 by 2 and fail to get 4. Give no anxious thought to possible disasters, obstacles, panics, or unfavorable combinations of circumstances. It is time enough to meet such things as they present themselves before you in the immediate present, and you will find that every difficulty carries with it the wherewithal for its overcoming. Guard your speech. Never speak of yourself, your affairs, or of anything else in a discouraged or discouraging way. Never admit the possibility of failure, or speak in a way that infers failure as a possibility. Never speak of the times as being hard, or of business conditions as being doubtful. Times may be hard and business doubtful for those who are on the competitive plane, but they can never be so for you. You can create what you want, and you are above fear. When others are having hard times and poor business, you will find your greatest opportunities. Train yourself to think of and to look upon the world as something which is becoming, which is growing, and to regard something evil as being only that which is undeveloped. Always speak in terms of advancement. To do otherwise is to deny your faith, and to deny your faith is to lose it. Never allow yourself to feel disappointed. You may expect to have a certain thing at a certain time, and not get it at that time, and this will appear to you like failure. But if you hold to your faith, you will find that the failure is only apparent. Go on in the certain way, and if you do not receive that thing, you will receive something so much better that you will see that the seeming failure was really a great success. A student in this science had set his mind on making a certain business combination which seemed to him at the time to be very desirable, and he worked for some weeks to bring it about. When the crucial time came, the thing failed in a perfectly inexplicable way. It was as if some unseen influence had been working secretly against him. He was not disappointed; on the contrary, he thanked God that his desire had been overruled, and went steadily on with a grateful mind. In a few weeks an opportunity so much better came his way that he would not have made the first deal on any account, and he saw that a mind which knew more than he knew had prevented him from losing the greater good by entangling himself with the lesser. That is the way every seeming failure will work out for you, if you keep your faith, hold to your purpose, have gratitude, and do, every day, all that can be done that day, doing each separate act in a successful manner. When you make a failure, it is because you have not asked for enough. Keep on, and a larger thing than you were asking will certainly come to you. Remember this. You will not fail because you lack the necessary talent to do what you wish to do. If you go on as I have directed, you will develop all that talent that is necessary for the doing of your work. It is not within the scope of this book to deal with the science of cultivating talent, but it is as certain and simple as the process of getting rich. However, do not hesitate or waver for fear. When you come to any certain place you will fail for lack of ability. Keep right on, and when you come to that place, the ability will be furnished for you. The same source of ability which enabled the untaught Lincoln to do the greatest work in government ever accomplished by a single man is open to you. You may draw upon all the mind there is for wisdom to use in meeting the responsibilities which are laid upon you. Go on in full faith. Study this book. Make it your constant companion until you have mastered all the ideas contained in it. While you are getting firmly established in this faith, you will do well to give up most recreations and pleasure, and to stay away from places where ideas conflicting with these are advanced in lectures or sermons. Do not read pessimistic or conflicting literature, or get into arguments upon the matter. Do very little reading, outside of the writers mentioned in the preface. Spend most of your leisure time in contemplating your vision, and in cultivating gratitude, and in reading this book. It contains all you need to know of the science of getting rich, and you will find all the essentials summed up in the following chapter.
Of the Science of Getting Rich.
End of
by
chapter
Wallace
16.
Wattles. Chapter 17. Summary of the Science of Getting Rich. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which, in its original state, permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. Man can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. In order to do this, man must pass from the competitive to the creative mind, otherwise he cannot be in harmony with the formless intelligence, which is always creative and never competitive in spirit. Man may come into full harmony with the formless substance by entertaining a lively and sincere gratitude for the blessings it bestows upon him. Gratitude unifies the mind of man with the intelligence of substance, so that man's thoughts are received by the formless. Man can remain upon the creative plane only by uniting himself with the formless intelligence through a deep and continuous feeling of gratitude. Man must form a clear and definite mental image of the things he wishes to have, to do, or to become, and he must hold this mental image in his thoughts while being deeply grateful to the Supreme that all he desires are granted to him. The man who wishes to get rich must spend his leisure hours in contemplating his vision, and in earnest thanksgiving that the reality is being given to him. Too much stress cannot be laid on the importance of frequent contemplation of the mental image, coupled with unwavering faith and devout gratitude. This is the process by which the impression is given to the formless, and the creative forces set in motion. The creative energy works through the established channels of natural growth and of the industrial and social order. All that is included in his mental image will surely be brought to the man who follows the instructions given above,
and whose faith does not waver. What he wants will come to him through the ways of established trade and commerce. In order to receive his own when it shall come to him, man must be active, and this activity can only consist in more than filling his present place. He must keep in mind the purpose to get rich through the realization of his mental image, and he must do every day all that can be done that day, taking care to do each act in a successful manner. He must give to every man a use value in excess of the cash value he receives, so that each transaction makes for more life, and he must so hold the advancing thought that the impression of increase will be communicated to all with whom he comes in contact. The men and women who practice the foregoing instructions will certainly get rich, and the riches they receive will be in exact proportion to the definiteness of their vision, the fixity of their purpose, the steadiness of their faith, and the depth of their gratitude. End of chapter 17, and end of The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles.
Okay, that was chapter 16 and then chapter 17 of The Science of Getting Rich. So chapter 16 is really a bit of warning and a little bit of caution that you should be using when you're using The Science of Getting Rich, as some of it can be interpreted, not incorrectly, but some of it can be interpreted in a certain way that wouldn't be as effective or helpful. And then the last chapter is a summary. Okay, so if you notice throughout the book, Wallace Wattles really does repeat a lot of his ideas a lot of times over and over again. So he says things like, we are surrounded by a thinking stuff that permeates all space. Okay, so all little nooks and crannies and edges and corners and everywhere. Okay, so the way I think of it is you ever done a mold of your hand or a mold of something? Okay, so what you do is you take plaster and you fill up a bucket, you put your hand in, it sets, you take your hand out, and then that creates a space where your hand used to be, and everything else is kind of like negative space. Then you fill it up with a plaster of some sort or some kind of setting material, and that fills it up. You wait a couple of hours and then you peel away that extra. All that stuff that's all in between, all the little details, okay, that is what would represent the thinking stuff, the field. And it's true, it really is everywhere. And if you think that when you're saying a prayer at night, nobody's hearing you, yes, the universe is hearing you, even if you're just saying it in your head. You do not need to say any of your prayers out loud. Everything is heard by God, by the universe. Every little thing you say, every little thing you think, every little plea for help is heard, okay? Just so you know. Okay, so in chapter 16, the author is saying that people must have advancing mind, even if the government is designed to keep people down and under control. So this is super important right now because people do feel controlled by this whole situation of this V word. I don't want to say it. Regardless, you can have economic success even if the government is set up in that way where there's a lot of control, or even if there's a capitalist system, which there is in most societies, especially in Western society, everything's capitalist. You don't have to let this stop you. In fact, it becomes a limiting belief when you let it stop you. So you have to make sure that you're entering the creative plane and avoiding that competition. The competition is what's going to get you. Competition leads you to that lack mindset, the opposite of the abundance mindset, okay? And you have to remember that your thoughts must be maintained in the creative, okay? You have to be happy for other people when they are successful, especially when they get the things that you want or achieve the successes you want, because that just means that it's close to you, okay? That thing happening for you is close to you. Also, you have to catch yourself being competitive, being negative. You have to look at it from a different perspective. You have to see a different, reframe it, as some people would say. A really good way to do this is to stay in the now, but that's what you need to do in your current business. He always says that whatever you're doing in your current business, even if it's not the business you want to be in, do the best you can in the now, and you don't worry about the past. The past is where your regrets live, right? Your depression lives. That's where you say, I should have done a little bit more. I shouldn't have done so much. Maybe you overdid it. You don't need to. Okay, you leave that past in the past, and then the future is where anxiety lives and where you worry that you're going to make a mistake or there's going to be some emergency. So you leave that in the future. Don't go there. Stay in your present, right? That's where being mindful comes in handy. Again, you should always see the world as growing and developing. when you see things as evil, when you see the world as evil, or circumstances as evil, or government as evil, just try to think of it that two things, okay? Number one is where there's evil, there's not enough love. So you have to send love, positive energy, positive, love and above on the Hawkins scale, okay? That's right here. Okay, so always keep your vibration as high as you can in the love and above, and send love to where you feel negative, okay? Where you feel like some kind of negative energy or evil energy. The second thing you need to do is remember that anything that seems evil is underdeveloped or not sophisticated in such a way that it can be positive or have enough love or have enough positivity. Okay, there's always a positive spin. There's always a way to see things as the glass is half full. Now, the last big idea, which I love that they mention in this chapter 16, is this idea that if you don't get what you want, you shouldn't really be disappointed. You really have to see that it's very likely that if you didn't get that thing, it's not the thing that was meant for you. The thing you were asking for is still coming, and you mistaken the arriving event as that thing. It didn't work out, but something better is coming, okay? Better opportunity, a better chance, more luck, more advancement, a different job. Something is coming that's better than what you had asked for, and better than what you had failed at, okay? And remember, each failure is just another step towards the moment when you are going to be successful, okay? And remember, success is also very relative, okay? So your failure to someone else is a success. So let's say you're trying to lose 20 pounds. You lost only 10 in the 2-week period or 3-week period. I know that's a lot to lose in a short amount of time. But for someone who was wanting to lose only 10, you have that success. Do you see how it's relative? That's also the law of relativity that we talk about in another video. In the final chapter, chapter 17, is only about 3 minutes long. I think it's 3 minutes and 13 seconds. It doesn't need a whole lot of analysis. Really, it summarizes all the really important parts that the author talks about. My favorite is the whole concept of acting as if. You always have to be happy about the success that you necessarily haven't had yet in this reality, but you have to imagine and visualize that it has happened, and then you feel the feelings as if it's already happened, okay? Or that it has already happened. You have to imagine that there's a reality where you already have the thing that you want, and all you have to do is attract that reality to you. And the way you do that is by feeling as good as you can, feeling the feelings that you would feel. So imagine the feelings that I would feel if I had the thing I want. Is it relief? Is it joy? Is it happiness? Is it being proud? Is it just pure love? Is it like, thank you, gratitude? What is it? Feel that. Hold it every single day for as long as you can, okay? A couple of minutes is all it takes. And you can even do it for a minute or two while you're meditating or while you're laying in bed getting ready to go to sleep. That's a great time to do it. You're close to your theta brainwaves. Guys, this is all I'm going to say right now. I really hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to do other books as well, other audiobooks. I really enjoyed analyzing this book for you. Please leave any questions or comments or any requests. I would love to handle or tackle anything that you guys require or request or desire. I love you all so much. I hope you have the most wonderful day, the most magnificent week, and be positively happy. Mwah. Welcome back to another video. This is chapter 16 and 17 of The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. So first there's going to be the full so loud. They're literally just upstairs watching wrestling, and they have to. I legitimately want to YouTube. I want to be a YouTuber.